From the NC-TV 45 studios in downtown Newcastle, it's Focus NC with your host, Gary West.
Thank you very much. Good to have you watching today for another edition of Focus NC. And we want to thank our sponsors for this segment, Main Street Clothiers and Custom Tailors in downtown Newcastle, also Butts Flowers and Gifts in downtown, and Pizza Joe's with 4 convenient locations in Newcastle. Everyone goes to Pizza Joe's. I want to welcome my guest today. She's the Executive Director of the Lawrence County Tourist Promotion Agency, Janet Falotico. Welcome, Janet.
Hi, thank you, Gary.
Janet was recently promoted to Executive Director after being there for many, many years as the Assistant Executive Director. Joanne McBride, some of you may remember Joanne, she just recently retired. And Janet, before we talk about the TPA,
Yes.
tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, as you mentioned, I've been with the TPA for 15 years. I started back in '98 and worked with Joanne McBride this whole time. She recently retired, so thankfully and gratefully I was offered the position of Executive Director. Before that, I've been an entertainer most of my life. I love people, but most especially since I turned 40 a few years ago, I won't say how many, but since I turned 40, I found that I needed to give back to my community, that I needed to do more than just worry about what was happening in my life. And through the tourism agency, I've been able to do that.
Yeah, and you and I go way back.
We do, back to the radio days.
Radio days, that's right, that's right. So I was really happy to get you in for this interview. Now, we want to talk about the Lawrence County Tourist Promotion Agency because it is a significant force in Lawrence County. And the main mission of the TPA is it exists to promote tourism and awareness of our region and local businesses. And before we move on to some subject matter, we want to recognize some of the people that work at the Tourist Promotion Agency. And we just got the updated list from Janet, so it's correct now. Carrie Goff is the president. Cindy Mazza is the vice president. Lisa Lombardo is the secretary. John Miller is the treasurer. We also want to acknowledge Dawn Paroli. That's D-A-W-N, Dawn Paroli. She's the immediate past president. And, of course, the executive director is right here, as we said, Janet Falotico. And also the office aides, Shirley Crow, April Pennington, and Ginny, not Jenny, that's Ginny Jacob. She'll be happy.
She will be very happy.
Administrative assistants. So we want to make sure we acknowledge all of them because they all work hard. We know they do. Janet, how does business in the community become a member of the Tourist Promotion Agency?
Well, typically it's always happened that maybe myself or someone from the office or one of our board of directors talks to a business and says, you know, I think you would benefit by being a member of the TPA. It's a lot more than people know. As a matter of fact, I'm surprised at how many people still don't know we exist and what we do. So we're still trying to get that message out one at a time.
That's one of the main reasons why you're here today, too.
Exactly. But to become a member, it's very simple. You can become an individual member, a nonprofit member, a business member, or maybe a corporate member. They have different prices, but the individual member can join for $30 a year. A nonprofit is $80 a year. And just to tell you what you get with that is so much. We help you with press releases. We try to send out to a large local media so that they trust our resources. So when we send it, it's pretty credible when it goes out. We also put them on our website, which is visitlawrencecounty.com. Then we add them in our Facebook and social media. So we help in many, many ways. Plus, we have a little guy called Flat Larry.
Oh, I'm going to ask you about him. I'm definitely going to ask you about Flat Larry.
Yes, he goes to different businesses and hangs out, but I have to tell you, he needs adult supervision.
Do you know the total number of members currently?
I do, 193 right at the moment.
That's impressive.
I think it is. From when I started, there was just a little over 100 15 years ago. So it's, again, we're getting the word out and people are seeing what we do. And I believe they see us as a credible institution.
Now, as you mentioned, they're all listed on your website.
Yes.
VisitLawrenceCounty.com, right?
And yes, and that business would be linked to their website.
Yeah, that was the next question. Good. So anybody can find out about all those member businesses, find out all about the business through the Tourist Promotion Agency. Now, you did mention a lot of benefits that the businesses get, and I think you covered them all.
Well, maybe one other, because some people have events that they like to do. So we do event listings. Ours is the #1 event listing for Lawrence County. So if you are not listed there, we offer a free event for everyone once a year, just so that no one's left out. They may not have money or they may not have the sponsorship, so we want to make sure that the playing field is leveled. But we also are a resource for the Newcastle News. Any of the radios, they use that as a resource to move on and show the events that are happening around the area.
Now, you are located in downtown Newcastle, right on the fringe of downtown on Jefferson Street, North Jefferson Street. And that's called the Welcome Center, right?
It is. It's housed in the old fire station.
Yeah, and I've been in your office many times, and it's been renovated nicely, very nicely.
It's beautiful. And we have so many brochures and free information for people, and we love to share that.
One more thing before we wrap up this segment, because we have other segments coming up. I know that National Tourism Week was recently, May 3rd through the 11th, and how did that go locally?
It went well. I'm very excited to say we ran a few Flat Larry visits, passports.
We're going to talk about Flat Larry in the next segment, so you'll know what that's all about.
Got to talk about him. But we visited different businesses, and they each gave away something special to the customer that said, I want a stamp in my passport, or I'd like a passport and a stamp. And so they got a gift from the business. Then they also got a gift from us. So there's a nice thing happening. We had several people use it, and one of them was 25% discount to Living Treasures. That is unheard of. You can't find that anywhere. And several people took advantage of that.
It's the Lawrence County Tourist Promotion Agency. I'm talking to Janet Falotico. She's the Executive Director. And that's going to wrap up segment 1. So make sure you come back to nctv45.com for segment 2 and 3. I'm Gary West for NCTV45, and this is Focus NC.